My name is Amanda Wright, and I am the hostess and founder of Wright and Black. I identify as Afro-Latina or Afro-Caribbean because I was born in Cuba. My mother's Cuban, and my father was born in Jamaica, and he's Jamaican. And I come from African descent.
I identify myself as Black because I'm Black. Well, okay, I'm from Haiti, so our ancestors are from Africa, and if you look at my skin, it's pretty black.
I identify as African American because my parents are originated from Africa and they just happen to have me in America.
I identify as Afro-Latina. My mom is Latina and Black, and my dad is Portuguese and Latino, so yes.
I identify myself as Afro-Latina, and it's because my parents are from Central America and I was born here, but I'm Black. You see the skin color? I'm Black.
I identify as Latino because that's how I was brought up, brought up as a Latino, yeah.
My mom is Dominican and my dad's Black. So in terms, I am Afro-Latina. But because I'm not really educated on being Afro-Latina, I always say I'm Black and I'm Dominican.
I'm African American. I live in America. I'm Black, but I also identify myself as Haitian because my parents are Haitian. I grew up around the culture. I embrace the language. I've been to that country more than one occasion. So.
I feel like it depends. It depends on if you actually are Afro-Latino, because some Latino people are not Black and some are. But also, if you don't identify as Black, then there is no reason for you to be using the word anyways. And it's also like, that word is like, it's kind of an exclusive thing to Black people because of what we went through. And if you're just gonna be using it just to use it, you might as well just not say it because you don't really understand the struggle of that word.
The N-word in itself is a word that has so much deep-rooted hate, and it's not necessarily something that needs to be brought up in everyday conversation. And I understand the Black community taking ownership over the word and trying to bring the power back to their people, but as Latinos, I don't think it's their place. It's not about them, and it's not appropriate.
If you're Latino and that you accept that you're Black, you can say the N-word. Otherwise, I think you should just pack it up because I think it's primarily for the African American community. And if you choose to isolate yourself or just not accept the fact that you're a part of that, why even like?
Me myself, I've grown up and I've used the word like for most of my life because I grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood and it was accepted for me to use it. But I do understand how maybe Black people in the like middle of the country who aren't as around as many Latinos would not want someone of fair skin to use the word. So it is tricky, but I think it's important that's when intent comes into play. Because if you've grown up and you've been able to use it and the people around you are fine with it, then if you're using it in a malicious way and in a threatening and demeaning way, then that shouldn't be acceptable at all. But if someone's uncomfortable as well, then you shouldn't use the word around them either.
I don't think that anybody should use the N-word because it's the word that oppressed us. I feel like Latinos shouldn't use it, Black shouldn't use it, Asian, anybody should use that N-word because sense of how come, I actually wondered, how come when it comes to like racial slurs, we can use racial slurs in, like as an Asian, you can say this kind of thing, and as a Spanish person, you can say a spick. And I don't get why Latinos people will use the word when we can use words that pretty much oppress that race. So I feel like nobody should use that word.
Yes and then no. So here's the thing with the N-word. It goes back to a lot of different things that we used to do. Like black people. Okay, let me go back, because honestly, it has to do a lot with who you identify as. You know, if you want to be a black person and you are Dominican or Puerto Rican or anything of that sort, or if you're from Spain and you feel like you identify yourself in that people of color group, you can use the N-word, you know. But it comes a time where if you try to sit here and be like, yeah, I identify as Latino or Latina, and then you sit here trying to degrade somebody that is black and you try to use the N-word, that's when it's like, girl, what are you doing? Because you just said that you want to use this term, you want to use it. It's like you're sitting here, you're using a term that we created for ourselves so we can be comfortable with, and then you're using it to be in our clique and whatnot, but you're also sitting here degrading us. So at the end of the day, you're using this term for the coolness and the slang and etc., but you're not really understanding who we are and you're not identifying with us. So
I just feel like a lot of Latino people, since day one, already don't want to identify as black. Why are you using a term that is for us? If you want to use that word, I hope it's because you love our culture and you understand, you know, the background of it. Me personally, I don't use the word, and I don't want to force people to not use it, but I don't know why even black people are using it, knowing that it came from, you know, a very harsh, you know, background. So it's not like you can't turn something negative like that, you know, you can't turn it positive. Like it's not, like, I don't know, it's very tricky. Like you know what I'm saying? So I don't use the word because of its history, but I don't mind if, you know, the black community uses it. But for a Latino person, you have to appreciate, you know, your roots. You have to know where it comes from. I feel like people use it just as a trend. For instance, in hip hop, they say the N-word and this and that and that, and they make it seem like we're these bad monsters and Negroes. Like, I thought the whole point of using the word is to make something good out of it, but you're here on hip hop talking about you're gonna kill a whole bunch of niggas. You're gonna do this to this nigga, that, like, what? I'm confused. What in there is positive? Like, no. No.
The white passing Latinos, I'm a little bit iffy about that. And also, if you're a Latino that does not, if you're an Afro-Latino that swears up and down that you're not black, then that's not your word to use. I don't care what your complexion is. If you are swearing that you are not black or you are not of black descent, then that is not your word to use.